I want to just take 2 minutes here to give you a little bit of update on some changes that are transpiring in all of the things. So first and foremost, if you are familiar and have found me through Facebook, I am transferring everybody over to a new Facebook page. There was problems with my personal account getting flagged for being a non-believer of the government. So now I get to, not frustrated at all for my own experience, get to transfer everybody over to a entirely new Facebook page, which I'm actually really excited about because it's teaching me a lot about what I didn't know, because Facebook has totally changed since when I started. So there's a lot of avenues that I'm having to learn equally in this space, even though it is causing me frustration to do it. So there's opportunity for education. The other one that I wanted to share is that what was the other one? Oh, if you are local to Edmonton and surrounding area, me and Chloe Angeline and I, are going to be hosting a half-day in-person retreat. It is called the Perseverance Retreat. If you live in Alberta and surrounding area, you know that this is not something that is really acknowledged as a good idea right now, but because I understand the depths and the layers of the spiritual warfare that is going on, I have chosen, and Chloe has chosen, that we are not going to continue to be subjected to not advocating and creating and being the leaders in pursuing and basically just creating environments where people actually can tune in, heal, and thrive. So we are going to be, I'm not putting a link anywhere for this to be accessed publicly. You do have to message me on Facebook or Instagram to get the link to be able to join. So I'm not going to be posting this anywhere. So message me if you're in Edmonton and surrounding area and you are in the space in your life where you are seeking community, laughter, healing, empowerment, and really stepping into a new level of perseverance. We're going to be doing spirit connection and intuition development and empowerment speaking and Q&A, and there's going to be light refreshments and snacks. Whether it is raining or whether it is super sunny, we have a way to accommodate everyone regardless. So this is going to be so much fun. It's about an hour from south of Edmonton to my place, which is where we're going to be hosting this. So not only do you get a beautiful scenic drive to come here, but also to decompress on your way back home as well. So I am super pumped about this. In 48 hours, we're already over a quarter of the way sold out. So this is going to go quick. So yes, if you want to join us in person, send me a DM and I'll send you the link. The tickets are $70. If you're an Expander member, you get to save on your ticket. So there's a discount for your membership fee for the month. So it's an all-around savings in the best of ways. So we wanted to make this very affordable. Basically, with the cost of the ticket, we're really just covering the snacks and the things that we need to make this. There's very, very little profit, and I'm super okay with that because we really just wanted to bring people together. That is the whole purpose in this. So those are the ways and the things of all the stuff of where you can be a part of my world and my work right now. I am so excited for all the things to come, so stay tuned. Welcome to the Riley June Show. I am your host, Riley June, intuition master coach and spiritual activator. This podcast is here to support you on your growth and ascension journey, for those new to learning about their energy, and for light leaders to set a standard in their work and practices within the industry. Running a multi-six-figure business as a light leader comes with great responsibility. And as I expand my work into the corners of the globe to help others reconnect with who they truly are, just know your time spent here with me is held sacredly. And for light leaders, it's time to show up. We have a massive mission to raise the awareness of human consciousness in our globe. So let's get to work. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode. This one is just going to be a podcast episode. Lately, I've been doubling them up, all about that redistribution of content. If you are a spiritual entrepreneur, this is going to be really powerful for you, is repurposing your content on multiple platforms. And what's really powerful and helpful about that is that you get to appease to the audio listeners and learners as well as the visual learners as well. So that's something in the recent months that I have been expanding into, which has been actually super fun, learning how to navigate new platforms. If you're just starting out, I don't necessarily recommend it unless you have the time to really focus on it. And I'm not necessarily talking about creating and cultivating things like professionally. I mean, just in the sense of learning and distributing your energy in that form. So really get familiar with one place at a time. I've been doing this for 3 years now, and so I'm in that space where now that I've kind of mastered the things that I'm on, I'm just repurposing the stuff that I have, and so it's a really helpful tool. It definitely is. So that is not what I want to talk to you about today. There's actually a couple different things. So the main topic of today, I'm going to try and keep this short and sweet because I really want to make these more bite-sized, digestible episodes for you. But like I said, I'm going to be doing a few series here on just supporting spiritual entrepreneurs in the growth and expansion. We have currently a webinar that we have released. We are going to be doing it on November 3rd, and it is the 5 things spiritual entrepreneurs need to stand out in 2022. So the link is going to be in the show notes to be able to sign up for this. Again, it is totally free. I'm in this space where I am just so lit up to serve right now. And this episode is going to be about 2 proven methods that help you to be able to support your client in emotional releases. So we have the free webinar, link is in the show notes to sign up. And today's episode is about how you can support your clients in emotional releases. I kind of want to gab for a minute. Let's gab for a minute. Okay, let me give you a bit of an update on my life because this is going to be actually really relevant to what I'm talking about today. So in the past few months of my life, things have been what seems like so chaotic. It's been like up and down decisions. It's been left and right decisions. It's been yes and no decisions. It's been applying for things and getting denied for things and really holding true to a vision. And what I've really come to learn and understand is that not only do we have things that transpire in our own lives that require a deeper level of just emotional support and community support, but when you are also equally holding space for your clients, you become responsible for not allowing your life to become an influencing factor in where your clients are at in their lives as well. So whether this is energy sessions or readings or coaching, right? I don't want to say that one is more better or important than the other. Energy is energy is energy. And what I have come to learn is that as I am growing through and navigating my own personal experiences right now, none of them which are bad, just very sometimes frustrating, sometimes overwhelming, sometimes chaotic, sometimes really empowering and expanding and gratitude filled and all the things, right? But there's just been so much happening. I did a Instagram live on just catching all up with what's going on. So you can go and head to my IGTV and listen to that if you haven't already. But there's just been lots of things going on. And so I have really come to understand and set a precedence in my own practice in life and business that whatever is happening in my world is not welcome in the realm for my clients. Meaning that if I am having a not so good day, really not having a good day, then I am responsible for making sure that I'm either going to get in the energy required to hold the appropriate and qualified space for my clients, the standard in which that I hold for what I would expect for somebody else to hold space for me, and equally, or I should say, or making sure that I am honoring where I'm at so that I am not blending or streaming what I'm navigating with my client's energy, which may require which may require me to reschedule. This is such a valuable thing that I'm equally going to be talking about in the free webinar, because if you do not have these practices in place, whether you're just getting started, you haven't even launched a service yet, or you have been in this game for a year or a half a year or 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, and you're not holding this level of standard in your practice, I'm going to share with you something you probably don't want to hear, and that's you're not going to be able to sustain long-term results because your standards of operation are already at a very basic minimum default. Your standards of practice need to be greater than just beginning. And this is something that not only do I share with you, but I equally hold myself to in everything that I do. And why I say this to be true as what I believe and I teach and I preach to be true, is because you have to think of it like this. Imagine going to a therapist. You pay them $250 an hour, and that person's going through a divorce. They're not emotionally in check. They're all over the place. They're huffing and puffing and gasping. They have their judgments and their wounds and their negative energy now that they are bringing and infusing into that space. Now, I would assume, I'm not here trying to rag on therapists, but I'm just saying, like, you go to a place where you are expected to have a high standard of quality of space that you are holding for people. And if you are not taking the time to get yourself emotionally in check and prepared to hold space for somebody else, you cannot expect for that client to be able to get lasting long-term results that they are there paying you for. And I don't care whether you are offering something for free or you are offering something paid. I am standing up and saying that this is a quality of standard that I'm bringing into this industry, and I equally expect other spiritual entrepreneurs to be holding this type of quality and standard for their work as well. Whether you are just getting started, you haven't even launched a service yet, or you've been doing this for some time, this is something that is so vitally important, and here is why. And then we're going to get into the 2 proven methods that can help you to support this, okay? Both on a client level, equally on self level. When we are having emotional experience, when we are having human experiences, we are people. We are individually people trying to do our best. There is no playbook of how to be the most successful in life because everybody's path is different. And when you are holding space for people to release and to heal and to process and to expand within their energy body, their emotional body, their mental body. So this is the levels of your light body, your auric field, right? So this is beyond the physical self. When you are allowing people and holding space, ultimately holding space for people to be able to process on a multitude of energy levels, if you do not have yourself in balance and check while holding space, you are going to sabotage that experience that that client is having. Whether it's the client starts talking about, maybe they're just having a really hard time and they're complaining about their partner. And if you are that therapist going through that divorce, or that person going through that divorce, I should probably just stick with this in spiritual leaders, but I was thinking of, what's this professional standard where people are held to a certain, board of ethics that they are paid for at high level rates. And so therapist came to mind. But that doesn't mean that you can't be a high level practicing spiritual coach or healer and still hold a higher level of standard for yourself just because it's an unregulated industry. So that's where I was going with that. Sorry, therapists. So imagine then this person is complaining about their situation with their spouse, and you're going through a divorce, and you are very wounded and hurt because someone did wrong unto you, and now you're oozing that judgment over this person. F that person, or maybe you should just leave them or get away from them or set up your boundaries, or what walls or boundaries are you not holding in this space because this person deserves you to speak your mind, right? So you can see where if you're not getting yourself in check, that this could really rain on judgment. Now, I would hope and pray and wish and dream and expect that anyone holding space for other people, you are keeping your judgments in check at the door. But this can equally really come into play if you have clients who have received the shot, right? If you're someone on one of the sides, you either get it or you don't, and you have a client who comes to you on the opposing side, right? They're going to have a strong opinion and belief for why they don't, and very much can be backed by science on both sides, right? Though there's a difference between science and the science. But even in what I just shared, you can hear that I have an opinion about it. But if I am coming into my sessions with clients on the opposing side, I am not doing them due diligence and appropriate, holding appropriate space for them. If I start oozing my judgments in their life, in their energy, that's only going to sabotage their experience. Whether they're going to come out of it more angry or frustrated, or they're not going to be able to get the quality of guidance that they deserve and they are paying for, right? So there's a multitude of ways that having an understanding of how to hold space and equally remove that yourself emotionally from a person's experience is going to allow you to be able to not only bring through better quality of guidance, but equally be able to support them in such a powerful and impactful way. I don't know who needs to hear this when you hear this, but someone needs to hear this. I just had a big release come through. And so within that, these are two ways that you can support a client in having emotional releases. So if you are a spiritual entrepreneur listening to this podcast, you know that you hold space for people to process their emotions. If you are doing a Reiki session, you are moving through their auric field, which is multitudes of levels of different energy, emotional energy, physical energy, mental energy, psychic energy. And so dependent upon what's limited within their field, what disruptions are in their field, if you are moving that, if you are clearing that, if you are bringing insight and awareness to that, if you are having discussions about that, whatever you are doing in that space, you are making room and holding space for that client to be able to emotionally release. If you are delivering psychic guidance, you are holding space for that person to be able to become aware of their blocks and limitations if you're doing what you're doing really well. And you are allowing them the space to process. If you touch a nerve on, maybe they come to you for because they want to know about their finances for guidance, and you bring up, and it has in their energy that it has way more to do with relationships, and they don't want to deal with that. They're not ready to process that, but you hit a nerve and you hit a chord and they have an emotional breakdown. Or you're offering mediumship readings. You're holding space for people's grief, right? And grief is multifaceted. It can come from the trigger of happy memories. It can come from the trigger of pain. It can come from the trigger of things that they have suppressed, that they didn't remember, that now you have brought to their awareness. And that could unroll over weeks, right? Sometimes if you're someone who's delivered mediumship readings, you know what I'm talking about, where you can deliver a message to someone and it doesn't make sense to them in the moment. This is why I always have recommended in the past that if there are things that didn't align or make sense to them in the moment, to go and do their research, go and have those conversations. Not only do you get to bring that spirit back alive now with other people in your family, but you may find out more things about them, right? But either way, you're opening up and holding that space for someone to be able to process another layer of grief that they may not have done before. So you're holding space for people to release emotions. And this is why therapists have a board of ethics that they adhere to and that they are monitored by. And in the spiritual and energy industry, there's no board of ethics. We are responsible for creating our own. And so as you're holding space for people to be able to release their emotions, the first number one important technique to be implementing in your practice when and if your clients are having emotional releases is bring them back to their awareness of their breath. Your breath is a sacred connection between your physical life and the energy of the infinite universe, but it is equally allowing you to harness the balance and the presence and the processing. Because when your system gets invoked in anything less than a neutral way, your nervous system, it causes the panic and the anxiety and the emotional releases, which could be anger ridden, which could be fueled with depression, which could be fueled with sadness, that are transpiring in tears, or even sometimes those blubbering breakdowns. And I say that in a loving way. We all have those cries where we look like a hot mess, right? I have held space for clients who have had those, and I have had those, right? So if you provoke or you pick up or we release or engage an experience like that, bringing your clients back to breath, breathing techniques, breathing in slowly, bringing their body back into an alpha state, right? So when we slow down our body, just like before we're going to sleep, we bring our mind and our body and our spirit into an alpha state of being. And it's going to calm the reaction that they are having so they can appropriately process the energy that is moving through them. This is so vitally important. And unfortunately, I really don't know a lot of people who bring this into their practice. And this is equally why I have taken it upon myself to really learn how to create processes and structures and techniques to then turn around and teach. Because when I was learning how to become a psychic medium or a spiritual coach, an energy life coach, these were not things that I were taught. And I learned very quickly in diving into my own studies surrounding the education of psychology and behaviors and all the things body autonomy, that this was something that was so important in being able to support your clients, especially in this specific episode on emotional releases, is breathing techniques. So you can go and you can learn breath works, but you can literally just learn about the alpha state of the mind, and you can incorporate breathing techniques that resonate with you, that maybe you even develop. I do everything on the counts of threes, big deep inhales and long, drawn out exhales. It helps you to calm your nervous system. The second one is self-reflection. Now, this one can be a tricky one, especially if you're not necessarily trained in understanding the process of how this works. But it is really vitally important that your clients are leaving understanding how they are responsible for the experience that they are having. Now, I'm not saying blame the person for what they are experiencing. Not at all. So let me just make that very clear. What I am saying is that in a level of accountability, bringing your client through self-reflections of what they are experiencing, how they are experiencing it, where in their past they have learned this, how it has transpired in patterns in their lives, and what they can become conscious of in regards to how they are accountable for their choices and how they continue to move through this energy moving forward beyond your sessions. Okay, so this is something that I teach in the Magnetic Women program, as well as in what we're going to be diving into in this next round of the Align and Ascend Mastermind for Spiritual Entrepreneurs. But what is so important about these two techniques is not only does it deliver a higher level of quality results for your clients, but it also allows your clients to walk away feeling in control and empowered. They might not come out of it feeling like they're sitting on the rainbows and the stars and the clouds, but they are walking away understanding that they are responsible for the results from here on out. So I wanted to leave this with you because this is something that I have seen not only through my practice of development, but equally in what I have trained and taught other psychics and mediums and healers and energy coaches and practitioners in, and they have been able to turn around and see sustainable results in their clients. But it is something that I equally see is lacking in our industry, is the techniques and the tools to support your clients on deeper levels, which means that you are responsible for understanding higher levels of tools and applications to be able to get your client from where they are to where they want to be. Gone are the days where looking in a crystal ball and just pulling cards is actually just okay. So I'm not saying don't start somewhere. I want to make that equally very clear. If you are a psychic, you want to brand yourself as a psychic, as a medium, as a Reiki practitioner, as a healer, please start. The world needs you more than anything. Keep listening to this podcast so you can learn more things of what to implement and how to implement them, or watch my YouTube channel, right? Free options for you to be able to expand. But it is also equally your responsibility to have a standard higher than just getting started. And this is something that's so important because this industry is unregulated. It is not only an advantage for you, but it is also something that you are very responsible and accountable for in regards to your practices and spaces that you are holding. So I wanted to leave this with you because it's something that very easily you can go back, take notes of the reflective questions that I offered in this space. That is something that you can start getting more familiarized for yourself and what you can offer to your clients. And equally, most importantly, at least number one, the breathing. Really create a system or a process that you walk your clients through. Equally apply it to yourself. This is how you're going to know that this works. You have to create the evidence that these things do in fact work. So you have to apply it to yourself. As I was going through all the changes and I'm going through all the changes in my life, these are things that I am applying to myself right now to be able to either get myself in the energy to hold space for other people, or equally just to be able to process and navigate and to move through what it is that I am moving through in my life at this time. So these things do truly work. So you can go through, apply them, take notes. Remember, I said, make sure you're coming to these episodes with your pen and your journal or your paper ready so you can take notes. I hope this supports you today. If it does, I'd love to hear from you. Tag me on Instagram. Let me know what your biggest takeaway was. And make sure to sign up if you're a spiritual entrepreneur to the free webinar I'm doing on November 3rd at 6:30 p.m. There's a replay available, and it is on the 5 things you need to know. Yes, the 5 things you need to know to stand out in 2022. I love you. Don't forget to find the magic in today, and we will chat soon. Hey, before you go, I wanted to take a moment to just thank you so much for tuning in with me each and every week. If you weren't already aware, new episodes drop on Mondays. If you could please be so kind as to screenshot this episode, just tag me on Instagram at Riley June with your biggest takeaway, or if you know someone who could really use the insight and guidance provided to you in this session today, I would love for you to go ahead and share this directly to them. I look forward to continuing to bring you insight, guidance, and self-mastery activation tools that you can implement into your life now to truly evolve and become the divine expander that you are. All right, I cannot wait to chat with you soon. And remember, don't forget to go and find the magic in today.